What would the ancient philosophers of the Stoic school teach us about preparing for a new year, and how we can embrace it with wisdom and serenity? In this hour-long special, we'll explore together how to follow this 2024 in a way that reflects inner peace and practical wisdom. Let's delve deeper into the timeless teachings of the Stoics and apply them to our everyday lives. First, we will investigate 10 things to be proud of, keeping them secret, words and thoughts that can divert us from the path of tranquility and mental clarity. Following the Stoic view, we will turn our attention to 11 things we must silently remove from our lives as this year progresses. These attitudes and habits prevent us from achieving harmony and balance, and eliminating them will allow us to live in a more authentic and harmonious way. Without further ado, imagine yourself as the commander of your own life, where words are your most powerful allies and your most insidious enemies. Today we'll explore the strategic art of Stoic silence, where what you don't say wields the greatest power. I will reveal 10 topics that you, as a modern Stoic, must navigate with extreme caution, as these topics can change the course of your personal empire for good or ill. In an era where information is king, your silence is the impenetrable and majestic castle. As we explore these realms of power together, remember that your legacy is defined not only by what you reveal, but also by what you choose wisely and strategically to guard. Stay with me, as each topic we cover is a step closer to mastering the Stoic discipline of strategic description, your shield in a world full of verbal warfare. Sharpen your mind, because what comes next could be the armor you need in future battles. Together we will enter the realm of Stoic silence, a crucial space for individual development. Just as the sculptor carves his marble into an appropriate metaphor for personal growth, the subtle elimination of the superfluous forms a masterpiece away from the public eye. Each private victory and internal lesson sculpt your character without the need for external validation. Your personal evolution is a solitary revelation of your truest self, not a spectacle for the crowd. Stoic wisdom values internal recognition over external praise, understanding that the true measure of progress is realizing and improving yourself in the tranquility of your mind. In the digital age, where the stage of life is often public, the temptation to document every thought and triumph is constant. However, pause and reflect. Is this for external validation or true connection? Consider Marcus Aurelius's Stoic view of transformation and opinion. Personal evolution is intimate, and although the world has countless opinions, they pale in comparison to the authenticity of your own journey. Silently navigating your personal odyssey often has more impact than broadcasting each change. Let your actions and results, the essence of your evolved self, speak louder than any proclamation. Like a silent ship making its way across the vast sea, the arrival, not the hustle and bustle of the journey, is what really matters. Your action, your internal sculpture, does not need constant focus to validate your value to others. It resonates with the individual complaints of your most authentic self. In a scenario where grievances can turn into viral content, there is significant depth to the Stoic approach to personal grievances. Have you noticed how sharing frustrations often amplifies them? Stoicism invites us to filter our discontents into silence, teaching us that inner calm is not the absence of disturbance, but the mastery of it. Epictetus's Stoic wisdom rings true. It is not things that trouble us, but our judgment about them. Imagine for a moment the liberation of perceiving irritations as mere shadows that lose their power in the light of our scrutiny. When we look inside and ask ourselves whether an injury really matters, we often discover that it does not deserve the energy we are ready to give. It's a skill to discern which battles are worth fighting and which are just echoes of our pride or fear. As you sail the sea of everyday irritations, consider embracing the course of the Stoic ship, steady and unaltered by the fleeting storms of irritation, quietly resilient. This is the mark of a man who not only controls his reactions, but also masters his peace. Reflect on this. When complaints eat away at us, what do we achieve by publicizing them? Stoicism addresses our discontent with intention, not through public spectacle. Take, for example, the prolonged enmity between Edison and Tesla. Their rivalry was fueled by deep resentments, and their war of currents spilled over into the public domain, resulting in a legacy tinged with bitterness and innovations that could have been born of collaboration but were marred by rivalry. In today's world, quick to share and even quicker to judge, we are pressured to air our grievances as a form of release. However, Stoicism advises a different path, confronting problems internally, discerning their roots, and responding with wisdom, not impulsiveness. When you encounter this discomfort, instead of exploding, take a moment to reflect. Consider whether voicing this complaint will change the circumstances or simply fan the flames of discord. Embrace silence not as a passive surrender, but as a strategic choice. The power of self-control and the tranquility that follows are testaments to true mastery over yourself. This is the Stoic way, finding strength not in the clamor of confrontation, but in the quiet resolve to rise above. Inside every man there are silent dreams and hidden desires. Think about the last time a simple pleasure or an undisclosed ambition quickened your pulse. Maybe it's the guitar gathering dust in the corner, waiting for your touch, or the joy of an early morning run before the world wakes up. These personal embers, often ignored in the daily grind, are your private fuel. There is a common impulse to express these dreams, to share them, and in some way, validate their existence. But be careful, revealed too early. These dreams can wither under the scrutiny or misunderstanding of others. Not everyone will see the beauty in your desire to play the blues or find peace in gardening. In Stoicism, the virtue of holding these aspirations close to your heart is yours to nurture in the quiet corners of your being. When the moment is right, they will unfold not as mere whispers, but as undeniable extensions of your will. Let these silent aspirations guide you, but only let them speak when they are fully formed, ready to stand tall against the noise of the world. This is the strength of the Stoic, the power of the unexpressed dream. As the ancients whispered, resounding through the ages, the dreams that dance in the silent chambers of the heart are the sacred soliloquies of the soul. Consider the enigmatic Socrates, whose thoughts come to us not from his own hand, but through the legacy of his students. His silence generated an enduring mystery, a testimony to the power of the unsaid. This serves as a powerful allegory for modern man. In a time when the details of life are broadcast for all to see, there is a deep strength in reserve regarding the most intimate longings. These incipient suggestions and half-formed dreams are delicate, the raw material of your future greatness, not to be wasted in idle chatter. Reflect on this in the midst of the clamor for attention, and appreciate the dreams you have not yet revealed, nurtured in the stillness of your own contemplation, like a fine whiskey aging in a charred oak barrel. Let them ripen and age out of sight. They will emerge not as fleeting ideas, but as forces to be considered, capable of resisting the rigidity of reality until the appropriate moment arrives. Protect the embers that could light the flame of your destiny, the silent hymns of aspiration, the invisible magic that propels you forward, destined to unfold in due time, at your command, under your control. As for your next goals, the journey toward our future is often as important as the destination itself. In Stoic practice, there is a profound wisdom in navigating this path in private. Consider your plans like seeds that need a protective covering of earth to germinate in the darkness, away from the prying eyes of the world. Revealing them too early is like exposing those seeds to harsh elements before they are ready, potentially limiting their growth or leaving them vulnerable to the ravages of doubt and criticism. Imagine your future endeavors as strategic moves in a grand game of chess. Revealing your strategy could compromise your game, allowing others to anticipate and counter your moves. Silence in this sense becomes your shield, preserving the potency of your plans until they are robust enough to withstand the winds of opposition and the scrutiny of the public eye. Remember, there is a time to sow and a time to reap. In between is a period of nourishing growth that often benefits from the protective embrace of silence. Embrace this period, letting your future plans develop at their own pace, allowing them to mature into the powerful realities they are destined to be. Silence is not a void. It is a space full of waiting for the right moment to manifest in success. In this scenario of constant sharing and visibility, consider the strategic mastery of keeping your cards hidden. Think of the Stoic chess player, calmly contemplating the board. Your next move is a secret, your strategies are hidden, but your eyes are firmly fixed on the endgame. The strength of his position lies in the unknown, in the movements that are felt but not seen, in the plans created in the silent corners of his mind. Howard Hughes, the enigmatic aviator and businessman, excelled in the art of secrecy. His projects, shrouded in mystery, developed on his terms, disconcerting competitors and captivating the world. It was this veil of secrecy that allowed him to navigate the turbulent skies of aviation and business with the freedom of a pioneer. Hughes's legacy is a testament to the advantage of silence, teaching us that in the absence of noise, our plans can mature into their most potent form. By embracing this Stoic approach, it creates a buffer between your ambitions and the conjectures of the world, allowing space for your plans to evolve without the distorting influence of outside opinion. And in the words of Seneca, it's about knowing your destiny and harnessing the winds of destiny to your advantage. Revealing your course prematurely can leave you adrift, subject to the whims of each passing gust. So, as you forget your path, remember that Stoicism advocates thoughtful reserve. It is not about secrecy per se, but about strategic and judicious control over the information you choose to release. In a society that values openness, there is a quiet, bold power in nurturing your ambitions in private. When you finally reveal your achievements, they will emerge not as mere advertisements, but as a grand revelation of a game well played, where every step was taken with intention and foresight. The quiet rise and fall of your feelings. Consider the majestic oak standing firm through the seasons, witness to the cycles of nature, yet enduring in silence. Its roots are deeply embedded in the earth, personifying resilience. Likewise, your rich, vibrant, and deeply personal emotions are like the seasons of the oak. They don't need to be displayed like autumn leaves blowing in the wind, visible to everyone. There is profound strength in silently acknowledging your feelings, allowing them space to breathe and unfold in their own time. In a world captivated by the spectacle of expression, the Stoic approach calls us to a different path, one of introspection and measured revelation. Just as Marcus Aurelius poured his deepest emotions into the private pages of his meditations, we too can find value in this internal dialogue. His reflections were not intended for public view, but for his own, guiding us by example to consider the merit of pausing and processing our emotions internally first. How many times in the midst of the fast pace of life do we take a moment to truly understand our emotions before acting on them? The Stoic path teaches us to respect the depth of our feelings by first becoming their only confidant. In our modern landscape, there is a race to convey reactions, to be the loudest voice in the room. But the greatest wisdom is in the stillness that follows a storm. In the moments when we sit with our feelings, allowing them to marinate, to settle into the fabric of our being. This is not a call for emotional detachment, but there is a more deliberate connection with ourselves. Stoic practice is not one of indifference but of discernment. Not every wave of emotion needs to crash loudly on the fringes of public forums. Some waves are best left to roll quietly back into the ocean of our inner world, allowing us to sail through our emotions with the kind of profound clarity that only solitude can provide. So when emotions rise like the tide, consider giving them space to ebb and flow within the privacy of your own mind. After all, these experiences are your personal passages through the changing tapestry of life. Not every chapter of your book requires an audience. Some chapters obtain their true value when read in the quiet company of your own soul, ready to be shared only when your spirit deems it appropriate. Every titan of industry, every legend that has walked the earth, carries within them an invisible battlefield where their greatest weaknesses lurk, waiting. Just as the mythical Achilles had a vulnerable heel, we also have weak points within our armor. These are not mere defects, but sacred ground within our character, worthy of our utmost description. Consider the resounding words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. Men are not troubled by things, but by the opinions they have of them. This suggests a profound truth. It is not the essence of vulnerability that shapes our destiny, but how we perceive and manage them. To be vulnerable is to be human, to have endured trials, weathered storms, and acquired wisdom engraved in the same fabric of our being. These vulnerabilities must be recognized, yes, but they do not need to be exposed. To reveal them carelessly is to invite the unbridled forge of public opinion to strike at them, potentially distorting our own perception and acceptance of these intimate truths. Our personal weaknesses should not be paraded to gain sympathy or validation. They are ours to deal with, overcome, and weave into the richest tapestry of our character. Therefore, guard them with the same vigilance as you would guard the most sacred secrets, because in handling our vulnerabilities with grace and stoicism, there is the unfathomable strength of character that defines the greatest in the silent sanctuaries of the inner M. We confront our weaknesses. Recognizing them in private is not a sign of evasion, but a strategic fortification. In solitude, weaknesses can be used as stepping stones to personal progress. The annals of history are full of those who, knowing their own weaknesses, carved them into instruments of strength. Abraham Lincoln is one such titan, a man whose private battles with hopelessness grounded empathy and leadership. On the other hand, Julius Caesar serves as a grim reminder. His misplaced trust in those closest to him led to his downfall. These accounts of the past bring into focus a critical aspect of Stoicism, the recognition and judicious management of our own vulnerabilities. The modern world urges us to expose our complete selves to the world, to live with an open book. However, there is profound strength in conscious containment. Embrace your vulnerabilities, nurture them within your being, but do not feel the obligation to expose them for public dissection. There is wisdom in preserving a few chapters of your life's narrative as sacred texts, shared with a select few or perhaps no one at all. Mystery, after all, has its charm, and often the true strength lies in the pages we choose to leave unread. The whispers of doubt in the private chambers of your mind, where they like to whisper slowly, have you stopped to question your purpose? Have you ever considered that these murmurs, if addressed, could actually be silent allies in disguise propelling you toward greater self-awareness? Why do we often feel the urgency to express these uncertainties, seeking validation from others? It may be that by facing these doubts on the silent battlefield of introspection, we can turn them into stepping stones to growth. In today's world, where our most intimate thoughts can be conveyed in an instant, there is an unparalleled power in turning inward, in holding space for solitude. What if the truest act of courage is facing these adversaries, allowing the self to be both the battlefield and the peacemaker? It may be that by healing the vulnerabilities of our spirit in private, we are actually preparing ourselves for more triumphant sailing, not in spite of doubts, but through the wisdom gained from overcoming them. Today's society encourages us to publicize all the battles that occur in our everyday lives, and to sacrifice our internal struggles for the spectacle of the general public. However, not all confrontations require a public presence, and not all internal suffering requires the presence of witnesses. The silent struggle, the decision of with whom and when to share the depths of our challenges, has a sacredness. The seduction of the siren song of social media is increasingly blurring the distinction between the private and the public. Although everyone seems to share every aspect of their lives, the wise are aware of the power of strategic concealment. Observe your struggles in silence. They are the crucible of your strength, a tangible testament to your perseverance and courage. The silent wars you are involved in. In the vast expanse of human experience, every man is an island with silent wars raging beneath his stoic exterior. These internal conflicts are like the dark, unfathomable depths of the ocean, full of mystery and formation. These struggles are formidable forces that temper our spirit, shaping our will with the precision of a craftsman. The wisdom of Epictetus whispers to us through the ages, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This is not a call to silence, but to discernment. It's a challenge to navigate the internal turmoil with as much grace as we face the external world. Remember as you walk through life that the true measure of worth often goes unnoticed. The resonance of your private struggles can be lost on the untuned ear. Not every confidant can understand the complexity of your battles, and this is where the wisdom of Stoicism shines. It teaches us that the most profound transformations are often nurtured in the quiet refuge of our own souls, where the bravest warriors fight their most significant battles in profound solitude. The pull, the allure of comfort, the siren call that tempts us to stay on the well-trodden paths of our daily lives is powerful. Yet there is a profound strength that comes from taking a silent step beyond these limits, from seeking the warmth of the forge rather than the comfort of home. This is the least praised path, but often the most transformative. Consider the unspoken value in quietly embracing the discomfort of a cold shower, the discipline of a pre-dawn run, or the austerity of a simple meal. In these moments, the temptation to proclaim our adventures can be strong. Social networks call us out. The world hopes to appreciate our efforts, but Stoicism teaches us the virtue of reticence, the value of allowing our actions to speak only for ourselves, not to the chorus of approval. When you find yourself at the crossroads between comfort and challenge, remember that your greatest achievements are forged in solitude. Like the Stoics before us, we find authenticity not in the praise we receive, but in the silent affirmation of our spirit. We might remember the words of Marcus Aurelius, urging that our actions be for progress, not spectacle. In the records of time, we come across characters like Alexander the Great, who, despite his empire and treasures, chose the austerity of a soldier's life instead of the opulence of a king's court. Her choice to sleep on the hard floor and share meals with her men was a private exercise of character, a conscious resistance to the seductive embrace of excess. This historical anecdote serves not as a call to asceticism, but as a reminder that in our modern lives, we face our own empires of comfort. The charm of ease is a test of character in itself, and our contemporary luxuries could easily lull us into complacency. However, it is the personal, unspoken trials that make us stronger. These silent victories are not for the world to witness or applaud. They are for the strength of the soul, for our personal narrative. So, as the world rushes to delight, we find value in the unseen, in the modest resistances we maintain daily. Allow yourself the occasional retreat to simplicity, to the less comfortable aspects of existence. It is within these moments, these chosen deprivations, where we often find the most profound growth. Remember that the most remarkable transformations are not announced with fanfare, but forged in the quiet corners of everyday life. In individual achievements and fortunes, in the tapestry of life, each achievement is a vibrant thread woven into the fabric of our character. While the world often shouts its triumphs from the rooftops, Stoicism teaches us the virtue of a more reserved celebration. The question arises, why whisper when we could shout? The answer lies in the quiet confidence that comes from knowing that your value does not depend on the applause of the masses. Sharing successes should be a selective process, a matter of description rather than impulse. It's about understanding that the true weight of your achievements is felt in the soul, not in the echoes of public chambers. The path is not about reducing joy, but about finding joy that does not depend on the fickleness of public opinion. When we silently celebrate our milestones, we become architects of an inner citadel, impervious to society's shifting praise and criticism. It is a practice reflected in the lives of many great men who understood that the brightest flames need not flicker with every wind. The Icarus narrative serves not only as a cautionary tale about pride, but also as a poignant metaphor for the personal downfalls that can come from a tireless search for external validation. So embrace your victories, revel in them, but let the depth of your pride be a personal matter. In doing so, you maintain the Stoic ideal that true satisfaction comes from within, and the most resonant compliments are often those we bestow upon ourselves in the solemnity of our inner thoughts. In the Stoics' view, there is a nuanced art to managing success. It's a delicate balance between honoring your hard work and not letting it define you in the eyes of others. This balance is not about diminishing your achievements, but about highlighting them through the lens of humility. In a world where fingerprints are indelible and the world feels obligated to document every triumph, there is a rebellious dignity in choosing restraint. Stoicism invites us to take a different path, where we absorb the essence of our achievements before even considering the announcement. The truest and most lasting form of satisfaction comes from within, immaculate and pure, without needing the focus of attention to confirm its value. So, the next time you reach the top, pause. Let the moment resonate, feel its depth, its true impact on your life's journey. And if you choose to share, do so with intention, with those who value substance over spectacle. In this way, the tapestry of your life's work maintains its integrity, woven from threads of genuine achievement that do not need an external shine to be seen as valuable by the most critical observer, you. Our existence is shaped by our thoughts, as the philosopher Aurelius observed. a profound study on the personal station. In this video, we will explore 11 vital aspects that you can safely eliminate from your life by addressing and mastering our inner landscape. As Aurelius teaches us, when we open ourselves to the possibility of transformation, this journey does not simply consist of passive observation. We encourage you to get actively involved by sharing your perspectives on each topic covered. Throughout our lives, we face the need to make crucial decisions, act deliberately, and remain true to ourselves. In this process, it is imperative to recognize when certain goals no longer serve our true purpose. Letting go of these goals is not only a normal part of growth, but it becomes essential, allowing us to focus on what really matters. However, it is crucial to make adjustments quietly and subtly, ensuring that our actions are aligned with our core values and identity. Adapting as situations evolve is a sign of flexibility, always maintaining an intrinsic value for privacy in our strategic life decisions. The constant search for external validation is a process that often traps us in a web of other people's expectations. Imagine being at the center of a stage with a spotlight highlighting your every move and word, while a sea of expectant faces surrounds you, evaluating your every action, word, and gesture. This scenario illustrates the overwhelming and restrictive nature of living for the approval of others. However, leaving this mental scenario and visualizing yourself in a calm and welcoming space, where your voice is the one that prevails, symbolizes the importance of giving priority to your inner voice over external expectations. Living to please others can take us away from who we really are, limiting our freedom and authenticity. Remember the moments of true satisfaction in your life, when you were true to your values regardless of external expectations. These moments are often the core of authenticity and personal fulfillment. To integrate this philosophy into daily life, start with introspection before making decisions, reflect on your motivations, and trust your intuition to strengthen your self-esteem. Celebrating your achievements, learning from your mistakes, and recognizing your unique characteristics is essential on the journey of self-acceptance. This journey is full of small triumphs that intertwine to shape your identity and well-being, building the foundation of your inner being. Cultivating relationships based on respect for your individuality and genuine support for your authentic self is fundamental on this journey. By freeing ourselves from the weight of external approval, we open horizons for a more genuine and fulfilling life. On this path, each of us becomes the protagonist, guided by authenticity, courage, and a deep sense of self-acceptance. Trust that your intuition will guide you to personal authenticity and wholeness. Identify your needs and work to strengthen your self-esteem, recognizing that the path to self-acceptance is paved with celebrating your successes, understanding your failures, and recognizing your unique characteristics. This journey to self-acceptance is based on gradually building small triumphs that shape you and help you find your identity and inner well-being. Establishing relationships based on respect for your uniqueness and support for your true being is crucial on this path of self-discovery. By freeing ourselves from the burden of seeking external approval, we are presented with the opportunity to explore and embrace a more authentic and fulfilling life. On this path, each of us becomes the protagonist, navigating with authenticity, courage, and a deep acceptance of our innermost being. A vital aspect to analyze in our quest for personal growth is the perfectionist mindset. Although this mindset may seem beneficial, it tends to create stress and a constant feeling of not being good enough. By aspiring to immensely high standards, perfectionism fuels the fear of making mistakes, forgetting that embracing our imperfections is crucial to self-discovery and happiness. Life becomes a richer and more authentic picture when we allow imperfection to have its place. Challenging perfectionism is a journey that leads us to recognize and accept our own limitations as human beings, an act of courage and authenticity that frees us from the weight of unattainable expectations. By adopting this approach, we understand that mistakes are an inherent part of the path to learning and growth. Shifting our mindset from seeking perfection to achieving excellence allows us to appreciate the value of doing the best we can in every situation. Recognizing that there is always room to continue evolving, practicing self-compassion and kindness towards yourself is essential in this fight against perfectionism. Accepting that things sometimes don't go as we expected, and being compassionate with ourselves in those moments offers us the opportunity to learn and grow. Each step, whether a success or a setback, contributes significantly to our personal journey, nourishing our repertoire of experiences and knowledge. Redefining the concept of success is crucial in this process. It's not just about obtaining perfect results, but about valuing the journey full of learning and personal development. Letting go of the obsessive quest for perfection allows us to turn mistakes into opportunities for growth, giving us the freedom to explore new paths and approaches without the constant fear of failure. This mentality invites us to live in a more relaxed and authentic way, freeing us from the constant pressure to be impeccable at all times. It gives us the opportunity to appreciate the beauty and uniqueness of our humanity, embracing our own essence and accepting our imperfections as elements that make us unique. Valuing and accepting our imperfections thus becomes an essential component of our personal growth, allowing us to be more understanding and compassionate towards ourselves and others, build a more authentic connection with the world around us, and enrich our human experience. Understanding how to deal with those who have caused us pain is a complex emotional challenge, and often the wisdom in Marcus Aurelius's words can be revealing in these moments. When someone close to us, previously considered a friend, hurts us, the initial tendency may be to explain or seek confrontation to alleviate our pain. However, true wisdom lies in taking a different path. We don't owe them an explanation or a dramatic confrontation. Making the wisest decision often means moving forward, not to seek revenge or excuses, but to preserve inner peace. In many situations, the person who hurt us may seek our help or support, but it is crucial to remember that saying it is not enough. We are not obligated to help someone who has broken our trust. Avoiding drama and quietly distancing yourself from this person is often the most prudent choice. Letting time reveal the consequences of your actions while we focus on taking care of ourselves is often the best way to allow both us and that person to grow separately. Being authentic with yourself means understanding that we are not obligated to keep people in our lives who we do not respect. Everyone deserves to be valued for who they are, and moving away from those who don't is a courageous choice. It's about prioritizing our mental well-being and personal growth above unnecessary drama. Marco Aurelius' philosophy highlights a unique approach to adversity. He stressed that the best way to respond to injustice is not to stoop to the level of those who committed it, but to focus on personal growth. It's about investing in your own evolution, developing inner peace and strengthening your character. The wisdom of this perspective is understanding that revenge is not always the solution. Instead, it's about channeling that energy into a constructive path for one's own development and growth. Facing adversity with strength is not done through confrontation or retaliation, but by building an identity based on integrity, dignity, and emotional maturity. Aurelio invites us to look beyond the impulse to respond to injustice in kind. Instead of seeking retaliation, it's about rising above negative circumstances, transcending and becoming a better version of yourself. It is a call to remain calm, not to be carried away by transient emotions, and to cultivate virtue and inner strength as a response to adversity. Therefore, the true response to injustice is not to punish others, but to focus on one's own personal development and building a solid foundation based on values and principles. This is the path to true peace and inner growth, even in the most challenging circumstances. As we begin life's great journey, we often carry candles of expectation with us, charting courses toward dreams and desires. However, these sails can inflate until they become unrealizable fantasies, throwing us into stormy seas of disappointment and disillusionment. Like sailors drawn to mythical mermaids, we pursue perfection in ourselves, others, and our experiences, a quest as futile as trying to reach horizons that recede as we approach. These gargantuan expectations, often originating from the whispers of society and the roars of the media, can blind us to the beauty of our authentic selves and the raw, unfiltered reality of life. The path to freeing ourselves from these deceptive illusions begins with fierce, unbreakable honesty with ourselves. It's a journey that involves stripping away the layers of should-haves and could-haves to reveal our true aspirations. It's about recognizing the weight of these expectations and courageously asking whether they lift or crush our spirits. This transformation is not a fairy tale, but a harsh and sometimes painful recognition of life's imperfections and our own limitations. It's about setting goals that resonate with who we really are, not what we're told we should be. Every small victory, every step forward, is a testament to our resilience on this journey. Beauty lies not just in the destination, but in the rich tapestry of experiences woven along the way. Navigating the tumultuous waters of existence with an open heart does not imply avoiding challenges or intense emotions. Rather, it means fully embracing the complexity of life, allowing each experience, whether joyful or disappointing, to enrich and make us grow. Strip ourselves of the rigidity of expectations to embrace reality as it presents itself, learning to find beauty in the diversity and complexity of each moment. Ultimately, this approach grants us genuine freedom, allowing us to find pleasure in small details, everyday surprises, and the beauty of the unpredictable. It invites us to embrace life in its entirety, with all its imperfections, knowing that each experience, whether pleasurable or challenging, is an essential part of the human journey. Participating in gossip and negative comments can often seem like a quick way to establish connections with others, but in reality, it often deprives us of more authentic and respectful communication. It is essential to reflect on how we feel after engaging in this type of conversation. Does it leave us feeling positive or subtly undermine our integrity? The words we use have a significant impact, being able to sow trust and respect or propagate distrust and hostility. By choosing to nurture our conversations with kindness and understanding, we are cultivating a breeding ground for healthy, genuine relationships. Despite our best efforts, sometimes it is challenging to resist the temptation to gossip. On certain occasions, this practice may seem justified or even tempting to join a conversation of this type. However, here lies the real proof. Before engaging in negative dialogue, it's crucial to pause. Take a moment to reflect on the shared humanity we all possess. Would you like your own struggles and challenges exposed in superficial conversations? Avoiding gossip not only involves creating a positive environment, but also recognizing the humanity in each individual. When we choose to be role models and refuse to contribute hurtful comments, we are fostering a more authentic and compassionate approach to connecting with others. By adopting these principles, we can shape a mindset that fosters emotional resilience, empathy, and positivity in our actions. This attitude not only affects our own personal development, but also strengthens and deepens our connections in interpersonal relationships, allowing us to cultivate more authentic and meaningful bonds with those around us. As we approach the end of relationships, whether friendship or romance, maintaining discretion regarding intimate details becomes crucial. Sharing specific information about conflicts or reasons behind a breakup not only violates the privacy shared between the parties, but also fuels unnecessary gossip, further complicating the situation. Instead, taking a more beneficial approach involves internalizing and reflecting on these experiences. This practice not only respects the privacy of both parties, but also facilitates a deeper process of personal healing. Feeling inclined towards these personal matters may be indicative of unresolved emotional issues. Instead of looking for external solutions, it is more valuable to delve into an internal dialogue to understand and process these feelings. This approach ensures that any problematic relationship comes to an end with dignity, without becoming a subject of public discussion. In doing so, we protect not only our emotional well-being, but also that of others involved, promoting a more respectful and discreet healing journey. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, "You have power over your mind, not over external events. Recognize this, and you will find strength." This quote reveals a universal truth, particularly relevant in moments of adversity, such as ruptures in human relationships. In these situations, it is essential to recognize that we cannot control external events or the actions of others, but we have the power to manage our own reactions and perspectives in the face of these challenges. Reflecting on these words invites us to look within and find strength in mastering our own minds. We accept reality as it is, without denying the pain that can accompany a separation, but also recognizing that our ability to face this suffering with emotional maturity is a valuable tool. This approach allows us to cultivate the resilience, serenity, and adaptation necessary to get through difficult times without letting ourselves be dragged down emotionally. In short, Marco Aurelio's phrase reminds us that, although we cannot avoid ruptures or change the will of others, we have the power to strengthen our mentality and find internal calm in the face of external turmoil. This understanding empowers us to transcend adversity and find greater emotional stability in times of change and challenge. When frustration or anger threatens to take over in moments of turmoil, many of us identify with the image of being in a tension-filled meeting. In these situations, the temptation to let our anger explode can be overwhelming. But what if we choose to express ourselves calmly, transmitting this intense energy not through shouting, but with calm and firm words? This act is not just about maintaining composure, but about moving us towards mastery of our internal storms. Think about how you felt when you witnessed someone lose control. It probably caused discomfort, perhaps even disappointment. Now imagine someone who, despite the chaos, remains calm, with their voice being a bomb in the midst of the confusion. This is the person we all aspire to be in challenging times. In these trials of our spirit, we discover our true strength. We form anger into action, frustration into clear focus. It's like the alchemy of the soul. It's not just about suppressing angry words, but about channeling that energy into something that drives us forward, converting obstacles into steps towards progress. Heraclitus was right when he said that maintaining equanimity is the greatest virtue. He reminds us that in the midst of the storm, our calm is our greatest treasure, and our balance the purest form of courage. So the next time you feel the waves of emotion threatening to overflow, remember this. The power to remain calm, to speak in whispers when the world expects shouts, is not just a virtue. It is a superpower, something that is exclusively yours. Reflecting on the last time we heard someone criticize another person can make us question what comments could be being made about us when we are not present. Spreading opinions about others is a slippery slope. It's easy to get carried away by the impulse of the moment, but once those words are spoken, they stick to us like shadows, casting a dark light on our own character. This goes beyond being simply diplomatic. It's about being the kind of person that others trust and respect. It is not necessary to please everyone, but it is important to remember that each individual we encounter is facing their own battles, which most of the time we are not aware of. Imagine this situation. You are faced with a challenging person or situation, and the temptation to let your judgments and prejudices take over is understandable. However, right now, you hold the power to change the narrative. Choose empathy over contempt. Choose conversation over conflict. Although it is an arduous task, you will experience a full range of emotions, from frustration to compassion, perhaps even a glimmer of admiration for the other person's tenacity. This focus is not limited to maintaining superficial peace, but to understanding the complex intertwining of human emotions and interactions. In doing so, you not only build bridges to understanding, but become someone capable of navigating the tumultuous waters of relationships with dexterity, wisdom, and heart. The tendency to endlessly compare ourselves to others is like running on a treadmill that never stops, is exhausting, never-ending, and ultimately steals our happiness. Every time we observe someone else's achievements and compare them with our own, we not only limit ourselves, but we also become neglectful of our own lives. This obsession with measuring up often leaves us feeling like we are permanently behind, trapped in a cycle of self-doubt and personal dissatisfaction. However, there is the possibility of transforming this dynamic. If we start to celebrate our quirks, our mistakes, and our victories, regardless of how small they may seem, it is not about ignoring the world around us, but about embracing our own path as it is, without sugar. Life does not follow a pre-established script where everyone has the same role. It is chaotic, unpredictable, and extraordinary in its diversity. Your story, with its ups and downs, achievements and stumbles, is proof of your resilience and uniqueness. Immerse yourself in your own narrative and allow it to be a kaleidoscope of emotions, from the steadfastness of frustration to the ecstasy of triumphs. By taking the reins of your journey, you're not just moving forward, You're rewriting the rules of the game in your own way. As the Stoic philosopher Epicurus once mentioned, control your perceptions, direct your actions correctly, willingly accept what is beyond your control. These words resonate deeply with the idea of focusing on our own path rather than falling into the trap of constantly comparing ourselves to others. This perspective offers us a healthier and more fulfilling way to live, celebrating our own progress and growth. Imagine your life as a fascinating soap opera, full of moments rich in personal experiences and growth. Now contrast this with social media, a vast repository of everyone else's stories, often showing only their most highlighted moments. This difference can lead to unfair comparisons and generate a feeling of dissatisfaction with our own lives. Therefore, it is essential to approach social media use in a conscious and deliberate manner, using them with clear goals, such as seeking inspiration, making meaningful connections or accessing valuable information, and then returning to our personal reality, can make a big difference. A useful strategy is to establish specific times for the use of social media, such as during breakfast or after work, thus avoiding its constant intrusion into our daily routine. Before engaging in any online interaction, it is important to reflect on whether this activity is constructive or just a distraction. Practicing this mindfulness will help you distinguish between meaningful participation and meaningless displacement. If you notice a drop in your mood or self-esteem associated with social media use, it may be beneficial to consider taking a break. This period of digital disconnection becomes a valuable opportunity to engage in real-world activities, strengthening and enhancing the unique and meaningful value of your own life story. Making these conscious adjustments goes beyond simply disconnecting from digital platforms. It's about creating a vital space to appreciate the full narrative of your life without constantly being subject to unnecessary comparisons with others. This time, free from social media, will allow you to focus on what truly enriches your existence, your real experiences, authentic connections, and meaningful moments that present themselves in everyday life. By freeing yourself from the sphere of perfection and idealization often projected on social media, you open up the possibility of appreciating the genuine and authentic in your daily life. This will help you rediscover the beauty in imperfections and unfiltered experiences, appreciating each moment for itself rather than comparing it to what is shown on digital platforms. By making these deliberate changes and stepping away from constant digital comparison, you give yourself the opportunity to focus on what really matters, living with greater authenticity and gratitude. Allow each moment to be a celebration of your own uniqueness and personal growth. Time is an invaluable resource, a force that shapes our lives in a unique and non-transferable way. It presents us with moments that can transform into transcendent experiences or disappear in the incessant flow of everyday life. Have we ever stopped to think about how we are using this treasure given to us? Are we really aligned with what we consider a priority in our lives? The birth of a baby is often considered the miracle of life. However, as we grow up, our perception of the extraordinary can fade, and we settle for the ordinary, forgetting our own extraordinariness. What happens to the promises we were made when we were young? We were assured that we would have the ability to do, possess, and be anything we wanted when we grew up. Now, as adults, are we really living up to these expectations? The way we wake up each day, and our morning routine or lack thereof, can have a dramatic impact on our success levels and results in all areas of our lives. As a person exposes themselves more, revealing their emotional wounds, it is important to keep in mind that this action can be taken advantage of by some individuals to cause harm. It is a reality that, although not universal, some people often find a strange satisfaction in witnessing someone else's, or even worse, contributing to making it worse. This dynamic of sadism and envy, unfortunately, is not uncommon and can present itself in different environments of everyday life, such as at work, in friendship circles, and even within the family. Consequently, learning to protect weaknesses can become a valuable asset. We must imagine ourselves as a tree in the midst of a storm. We visualize the leaves shaking and the branches throwing in the wind, but the trunk remains unshakable, deeply rooted in the earth.